So this weekend, I decided to give myself some exposure, and I found myself at one of Thailand's tourist attraction, and that was Jim Thompson's museum, and that is the inspiration to this video. I just know that you will love this video, so please stay here and wait for the gist. Hi lovelies, welcome to Personal Grooming with Grace. What we do here is we identify virtue, skills, and knowledge that can help us to grow day in and out, and other knowledge that's actually ruin our life. We discuss it here, and then we know how to grow with the right skills and the right knowledge. So if you are new to this channel, you are so welcome. So welcome. Please subscribe and click on the notification bell so that whatever video we post, you'll be able to get a notification to this video. And for those who are come back subscribers, how can I thank you? Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. So today we are discussing about journaling. Yes, this is my journal, and I'll talk about what journaling is. And a little about Jim Thompson, because that's where the inspiration really came from, the biblical basis for journaling, some key points on how to journal, very important one, my unique, brilliant way of journaling. I'll share with you, and then some tools you can use for journaling. So please, you would miss a lot if you decide to stop along the way. So please be here with me and let's discuss how journaling can really help our life. So let's start with whom Jim Thompson is. So Jim Thompson was an American who was born in 1906. He was a practicing architect. However, later he volunteered in the US Army, and he was later sent to Thailand. So when he came to Thailand, he fell in love with the country and decided to stay here permanently. So even after leaving the service, he decided to come back and build in Thailand, Bangkok. While he was in Thailand, he got attracted to a long-neglected cottage industry, which was the hand weaving of silk. So Jim Thompson devoted himself to reviving that craft in Thailand. As a highly gifted designer and textile colorist, he contributed substantially to the industry's growth and the worldwide recognition accorded to Thai silk. So he further gained renown through construction of traditional Thai houses, and also his love for art collection and the preservation of Thailand's rich culture. However, the unfortunate happened. Jim Thompson disappeared. On March 1967, while he was on a visit to Cameroon Highlands in Malaysia, Jim Thompson wasn't found again. From the tour guide, he left his cigarettes and his medicine, and so they thought that he would be back in a very short while. But till today, no clue is known about Jim Thompson. Where he went, what happened to him, no one knows. So I was so surprised that the tourist guide knew so much about Jim Thompson. Yes, they have learned it, but where? Because when I asked about Jim Thompson's family, they said Jim Thompson did not have a family. He did not marry. He did not have a kid. He married in US and divorced before coming to Asia, but he did not marry again. So I'm like, so how did you guys know what he bought at a particular time? Because he mentioned about an art that was bought in Chinatown on this date and all of that. And I'm like, how do you know the details of his life? And the answer he gave me was Jim Thompson kept a diary. And that is why all these things are known. And I'm like, that explains it. That explains it. So my question to you, my family here, is what if all that people know was the surface value of whom Jim Thompson was? Just a surface value of how they see him outside and what he does, and there was nothing detailed about him in a diary. How would they have given him such a memorial of a house museum? Because it was amazing. They showed his hall, his this, his that. It was a memorial. And I feel like it's because he was able to leave a diary that sums a lot about himself, what he was doing throughout the whole time. That's how they were able to have this kind of memorial for him as a museum. And this brings us to today's topic. Aside Jim Thompson, let me take you to the Bible. That is the sure word of God. So let me show you where journaling is also in the Bible, and then we can go ahead to talk about what we have to talk about today. Let's begin from Exodus chapter 17, verse 14. There's a story about Joshua fighting the Amalekites, and Moses was somewhere lifting his hand, and as long as Moses lifted the hands, Joshua was winning. And when Moses get tired and then want to put the hand down, the Amalekites were defeating Joshua. So this was where so in verse 14, after they had fought and they had won, God told Moses that he should write everything that has happened on a scroll and make sure that Joshua knows about it. And make sure that Joshua knows about it. Why did Joshua have to know about it? Because Joshua was to succeed Moses. So Joshua had to know about this. And it's something that has happened. And God wanted them to write it down so that Joshua would know it. Let's go to the next one in Ezra. The verse 59, it says that the following came up from the towns of Tel Milah, Tel Hasha, Kilb, Adon, and Immer. But they could not show that their families were descended from Israel. They could not show. There was no record. Take note. 60, the descendants of Deliah, Tobiah, and Nekuda, and from among the priests, the descendants of Hobiah, blah, 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 blah. 62, these searched for their family records, but they could not find them, and so were excluded from the priesthood as unclean. They were excluded from the priesthood as unclean because their record wasn't found. Now, you are convinced, I hope, that you are convinced that diary or keeping a diary or journaling is something that you have to practice. It's actually a life skill that you have to practice, and you have to be consistent in practicing it. With this said, let's now go to what we need to journal. So if I am to explain journal, I will say writing down your thoughts and your feelings as you navigate through every day. So every day, after the day, or even within the day, you can be writing it down, your thoughts and your feelings as you navigate. However, the beauty of journaling is that it does not have any formula. It is just, you just have to write what you have to write. But today, I want to teach you how I do my journal. Maybe you will get an inspiration from there. It is not by force that you follow it strictly, but I know that it's a brilliant way I use to do my journal, and so I want to share with anyone. If you have your own way, or you have something that you do and I did not mention, you can please share in the comments below so that I can also learn, and all the viewers can also learn from you. So let's get right into it. But before that, if you have not subscribed up to this point, please subscribe and click the notification bell. Let's get right into it. So journaling point number 1, journal about your day. So if I say your day, how your day went, what you did within the day, where you went, what happened to you emotionally, or your personal bodily feeling, how were you feeling? If there is anything that needs to be documented, write it down. What ideas did you receive within the day? What did you dream about when you slept? Write all of these things down, because when you journal, you are actually putting down symptoms. So as you go on within the day, you will know that, oh, it was because of this that this has happened. If you are not able to put down what happened today, you cannot be able to track what happens tomorrow to today. So it's important that you journal everything within your day. When you went to work, who pissed you off, who did this, who did that, write it down. So that's number 1. Journal about your day. So if I say your day, I know someone is asking, what if someone goes to read? My answer to this question is a question. What did you write that you don't want someone to read? I don't say that someone should read your journal, but what are you afraid that someone should read? That itself is a question mark. Point number 2, journal your new knowledge or your new experience. So as you go through the day, have an open mind. And journaling helps you to forget yesterday because you've already written it down. So you forget about it and be present today, because anything that you would want to remember, you have written it down. So if you want to remember, you can go back to your journal. So it makes you have a clear mind to face another day. So as you go through the day, have an open mind. Learn from anything and anyone. Learn from children, learn from your own children, learn from your mentees, learn from your mentors, learn from your lecturers, learn from your boss, your colleagues, your junior colleagues, whoever. Learn from anything at all. Even learn from creation, the plants, the animals, learn from them, because they all teach us. When you read Psalm 19 verse 1 to 3, you will know that everything that God has created teaches us. Let me read to you. It says that the heaven declares the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. Are you learning the knowledge that a plant is revealing? 3, they have no speech. They use no words. No sound is heard from them. 4, yet their voices goes out into all creation. Their words to the ends of the earth. I don't even know what to say again. Everything teaches us. Let me just share an experience. Somewhere last year, I was lying on a mat and something told me to just look on the wall. So when I looked, I saw ants. They had formed a queue. Looks like some people are going, others are coming. So like it's like one queue, but some are going up. They are going in the opposite direction. So I started observing them because I am very good in observing things. I just looked at them for about 5 minutes, observing what they were doing, and each one of the ants was just colliding their head with each other. So if they meet each other, they just collide their head and then they pass. They collide and they pass. And I realized that every one of them is doing the same thing. After the 5 minutes of observation, tears started rolling. I just felt that this is love. This is love. If ants could do this, how much more human being? This is love. It changed my whole perspective about a lot of things. So all this creation teaches us a lot of things, and we have to be observant enough when we are going through our day to learn. The next point I journal is achievement. So before you can journal your achievements, you have to start the day knowing that you want to achieve something within the day. So within the day, you have to be able to achieve something. It shouldn't be something too huge. It should be something little, because you have a vision, maybe the beginning of the month or the beginning of the year, and you break your vision into smaller steps or smaller blocks. And so every day you work toward the bigger vision. So it can be something very little. That is your achievement for the day. And then you can write it. Sometimes it's just reading. I want to read one book for the day. That's my achievement. So today I use the day to read a whole book. Not like I read some and I left some. And I can take a book that has maybe 80 pages, 70 pages, and then finish reading. And I feel so fulfilled because that is my achievement for the day. It can be you being able to write a letter that you had to write. Maybe you are looking for schools, writing your motivation letter or writing something. Just get a work done, and that is your achievement. So that's what I add to my journaling. So that is the third point. The fourth point is my new friends. So within the day, if I am able to meet any new friend, maybe at the bank, maybe somewhere, I journal their names, I journal where we met, I journal what they do. If I got to know their birthday, I journal their birthday. And this will help you to be able to stay in touch with them at least the whole year. If you are not able to do anything, send them a birthday message. And that is how you connect with people. For me, I call it the relationship currency, because there is value in people. So I document these things down so that I know where this person works, what opportunities can this person give me, and also what opportunities can I also push this person into or throw to this person, because relationship is a mutual affair. If you are just feeding on people, you are being parasitic. This is a hard truth, but you are being parasitic, and so you have to be mutual. Have a mutual relationship. So when I collect all those things, I know that when I get any opportunity that I know that, oh, this person is into IT, so I have to push it to this person. I know where to push to, and then I know whom to ask anything if I am also in need. So that's how come I journal the new friends I get. And so at the end of the year, I can calculate how many friends I made within the year, because I started the year with a vision of having about 200 friends at the end of the year. So I know that I was able to achieve it or not. And that is why journaling, I can't underestimate it. It's so important. The fifth thing I journal is gratitude. I think that I have mentioned about this thing a lot of times in most of my videos. And it is because it is very important. Gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal. Journal who showed you kindness. Journal what the person did for you. Even if it's the little thing. When you are coming to sleep and you are journaling about your day, don't forget the kindness of people. The Bible says that the things that are written aforetime are for our learning. And this is something that is so much something that is actually the backbone of the book of Esther. Just because the kingdom of King Ahasuerus was practicing this journaling, it was able to save a whole generation, because they realized that Mordecai did the kindness to the king, and although it was written down, it hasn't been rewarded. So when they were going back, they now realized that this thing needs to be rewarded, and that is what brought the whole deliverance. So journal people's kindness. journal it. Don't journal what you did for people. No, I don't advise that. Maybe you can write it in your about the day, the first point I mentioned, that maybe you did this for this person. Fine, it's okay. You can journal that because it is still part of your day. But in your gratitude journal, only journal the kindness people show to you. Now, the sixth thing I journal is my diet history. Of course, I'm a food scientist, so I love to journal what I eat, and that is important because when you have a certain condition and you see a nutritionist or a dietitian, sometimes they want to know what you eat, and that is what we call the 24-hour dietary record. So they want you to record the last 24 hours. What did you eat? And they do that because they want to assess your diet pattern and then your diet assessment instruments and your potential well-being. And this is very important if you do it for yourself, so that when you have any condition, anything, reaction in your body, you can track it to what you have eaten. I have a friend who started experiencing something within the body, and he kept saying that this is because of maybe something I have eaten, but he did not remember what he has eaten, and that was a challenge. So he could not really pinpoint. Maybe he has eaten something that he's allergic and he did not know because he did not keep his diet history. So it's important that you keep yours, so that when, I don't say that it will happen, but when you would have to visit maybe a nutritionist, a dietitian, a doctor, and they are asking for these things, you can show them that I know what I ate from the beginning of the year till now. And no one will not be surprised because few people do this, and you have to stand out and be ordinary. Did I say ordinary? And you have to stand out and be extraordinary. One I'll share is journaling my finances. So I have a financial app I use. It is very, very helpful. I would put a link in the description so that you can have it and also download it for yourself. And it helps me to enter any expenses I made, any income that came to me, whatever it is. And it has different categories. I mean, expenses for fun, this, that, a lot of it. And you can also edit it and put your own category you want to fix into it. Laundry, everything is inside. And so I journal it. So I know my expenses, I know my income. There is no single money I cannot account for it because I have it all journaled. So that is it. And the last two I'll talk about is very personal to me because I try to do them daily, but it is not so compulsory for you to do, but I'll share it anyway. The next one is I also journal the sermons I listened. What was the topic? Whom did I listen from? And then maybe the summary. Then I also journal that one. And I also journal my Bible study. So what I learned from what chapter I learned it and all of that. And this is what it makes life so easy. This is an honest truth. I stand before God. It makes my life so easy because you don't have to try and rack your brain to remember something that happened yesterday. So when I enter into another day, I am so happy because I am coming to learn another thing. I'm coming to learn another different thing. God is coming to teach me something different. So I am always lightheaded because the past is past. I've written them and then that's okay. Let's live today. This is what I want you to practice. And I know that it will so much be helpful to you. So much be helpful to you. On this note, I'm reminding you again, if you have not subscribed, Mempesa, I will not tolerate it at all. Please subscribe and click the notification bell so that whatever video I post next, you will receive it. So thank you so much for watching up to this time. In fact, if you have watched up to this time, just type journaling in the comments so that I know that you watched up to this time and I will respond to you. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.